Here now is Matt Austin and Ginger Gadsden with Florida's Fourth Estate.
Welcome to another edition of Florida's Fourth Estate. We're always trying to help our fellow Floridians make decisions. Maybe make better decisions than we've made in the past. So we're talking about dogs today, which...
Speak for yourself.
Yeah. No, I'm speaking for both of us. I have passed many pets along to Ginger in her life. They're living with her right now. And so the question always comes up. Everybody's got these doodles now, and you've got Bluey, the blue heeler on TV. What kind of dog is best for a first-time dog owner, and which kind of dog is the worst? So we're going to give you the worst and the best today. And if you've got one sitting at your feet right now, and they're the worst, we apologize in advance because you're not going to like the show, Ginger.
Well, they're going to love it because it's not the worst for them if that dog is sitting at their feet. When people start to consider, oh, we're going to get a pet because everyone's going to be home for summer. We might take our summer vacation, but it's a great time to bring a dog into the family and the kids are going to be home. So they're going to have responsibility. And I could not think of a better person to help us with a list of dogs that are great, not so great, than Kirsten Benitez. She owns Bark Orlando, which is a great place, a daycare for dogs. I call it a spa. It's like a luxurious place for these dogs. They live a better life than I do.
The dogs get massages and facials out there. They have birthday parties.
Oh my gosh.
That's true story.
They do. And if you've ever checked her out on social media, that is the best part. Also, Kirsten, I'll brag on you a little bit. My favorite thing that you do is the dogs all get report cards at the end of their stay each day. And I just love that because you feel like you can't be there, but you're kind of there. So
okay, that's ridiculous. Okay, can I just say, I'm at work every day. Ginger's dog will be at Bark Orlando, Julie Broughton, and every day we stop whatever we're doing, and Julie's like, "Oh my gosh, Judy got the report card today." And so we have to read off the report cards.
Have the reading of the report
have to know
card.
how your dog's
It's a little over the top ridiculous, but they love
it. So Kirsten, thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Of course.
And you are careful to say there are really no worst dogs. They're just bad dogs for people in a certain situation. So we want to start with probably the worst dogs for first-time owners. These are not the ones you want to tackle if you have never had a dog in your entire life, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of this too is, when we're also looking at families, even if you've had a dog, also maybe not getting these types of dogs for smaller children if you have toddlers or babies.
I think the most shocking one on the list maybe because there's this show on television called Bluey. It is about a blue heeler. And then you sent us the list of worst dogs for families, for kids who are young, maybe under the age of 10, we'll say. And blue heelers are on there. Why is a blue heeler on the list?
Well, blue heelers, I'm not familiar with what Bluey is, but blue heelers, they are a working breed. They're a herding breed. So they have a high drive. I don't know if you've ever met one, but they have the energy. They're always, scanning around, trying to find something. They need to constantly be mentally stimulated. So if you're a family or if you're a person that's not super active or someone who can't dedicate their time to training or giving them something productive to do, it doesn't end up good in the long run. They can become overly anxious. Some of them can become a bit aggressive from that anxiety when they're not getting their energy out properly. And if you have a small child with a herding breed and you're not doing training, your child will probably be herded. So you might want to stay away
not
from
hurted, not hurted,
not
herded.
Herded like a sheep.
And they can be a little weary of strangers as well, but they are very, very intelligent dogs. They're also super cute.
So the other one, Matt has some experience with because I learned that he had these dogs when he was a younger man, Chihuahua.
Yeah.
Chihuahuas, yes. And I have a Chihuahua mix. I love him. But they have a reputation for a reason. They're small. They can easily become rattled in uncomfortable situations. If you were to have a small child just grabbing them, most Chihuahuas, they're under 20 pounds. Unless they have a weight problem. But they will become snappy very easily to protect themselves. It's just not a good dog for small
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Yeah, and people think they're
And
so easy because they're little and you can just carry them around,
right,
but you know,
They're
not so
feisty.
much.
I mean, we had a dog. She'd tear that finger right off if you mess with her. And we had Chihuahuas with babies. And let me tell you, Chihuahuas ain't quiet dogs. So you just
yeah.
get the little baby into the crib. She's sleeping there, and then next thing you know, it's like, okay, this dog is gonna live outside because
Absolutely, and that was something else I was going to say. They are very barky, and sometimes with Chihuahuas too, it's not just the training. Sometimes it can just be their genetic temperament, and it can depend on their parents, their grandparents, and if that temperament can be passed down from them. So it's not always just training will make them a nice dog to everybody. So
Yeah.
you kind of got to do your research.
Okay.
yeah. Good to know. We also have a Chow on the list. I've always heard Chows are saucy dogs, and they're kind of
yeah.
big and cool, and they got a crazy colored tongue. Why are they maybe not the best choice for a family or for a first-time dog owner?
Well, for family, they're just really not a social, outgoing dog, and I'm sure there's chow chows around that are, but they were, originally bred to be guard dogs, and they are very loyal dogs, but generally to one or two people. They are very hesitant on strangers. It takes quite a while for them to warm up. And in a lot of cases, we do see a lot of aggressive chow chows. So they're very independent, and training really isn't that easy for them because they are so independent. They're beautiful, 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 but also with that, the coat maintenance is a lot. That's something you're going to have to take into account. It's a lot of work to keep that coat up. The plus side, they really don't bark a lot. You don't really
That's nice.
see any chow chows with high energy, but they're definitely not a dog for an unseasoned dog owner. You want to make sure
Yeah.
that you know what you're doing with them.
Okay. And speaking of beautiful dogs, the husky, those dogs are gorgeous and they're stunning,
Oh
but
yeah.
not the best for first-time owners.
So they are super fun, they are super playful, and they are very good natured generally. But it's like getting another kid. So you have to understand a husky has a whole different type of personality than any other dog I've ever met. Um, they are full time work, they are endless amounts of energy. So you have to make sure you are putting that energy somewhere. Like at daycare, we do have quite a bit of huskies, and we are working them out, and they still go home energized. So you have to be very, very active. They also are escape artists. This breed is known for getting out of anything.
Oh,
So if you're going to have this dog, I would probably put them with older children, someone that can handle them, that can hold the leash a little bit tighter, can watch them in the yard. Um, they were bred to be a sled dog, so they are go 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 dogs,
Yeah.
and they
When,
also shed a lot.
oh yeah, that is a downside.
But they're great. They're beautiful. They're funny. I love them. But first time dog
I feel
owners.
like those are growing significantly in popularity. And yes, when you're
Yeah.
built to run the Iditarod, I think
yeah.
you're going to have some energy. We could
Oh,
use a
yeah.
little common sense here when we're buying a dog. If you have an apartment and it's going to stay in the apartment, let's maybe not get a dog built for the Iditarod. Okay?
Yes.
That's fair?
Yes, that is very fair.
Okay, and then our last dog on the list that we have, there are many more, I'm sure, and there are exceptions to this list as well. One of my favorite dog breeds you put on here.
Oh, your favorite.
A Doberman, you're saying is not a good dog breed for a family. Tell me what is it about this kind of dog? I mean, man, they're so, gosh, if somebody tried to break into my house and I got a Doberman, it's like they are a vapor trail. I love a
Believe it.
Dobie.
Some Dobermans. So I guess it just depends. This breed, again, like the husky, it's like another child. They take quite a while to mature. And I like to call them little bulldozers. and they throw their little hands. But I have seen a Doberman run into every wall, every person, just everything. They're just silly and goofy. So if you have a 5-year-old, that 5-year-old's probably going to get knocked down.
Yeah.
They're just boundless amounts of energy. But, again, training will do something. You just have to be prepared to get into training right away.
Yeah. Can I tell you something funny? My childhood dog was a Dobie Chow mix. And maybe like the worst, but he was, he really was an interesting cat. He kind of looked like he looked like a fox. He looked like a orange Doberman, and his personality was all Dobie. He'd be like, "You can pet me for 2 seconds. I'm going to do another lap, make sure the house is safe." He was like, it was like having a Marine in the house. So he ended up being, he was a really great dog. But I know, that's the weird thing about, should we be careful with this a little bit? Because I know we kind of are generalizing, but you'll sometimes see like a Rottweiler who wouldn't hurt a fly, and then you'll also see another Rottweiler who will attack anything that comes in the house. So there are variations here.
You just want to make sure that you are prepared for training and consistency and probably activity, because a lot of the dogs listed on here, besides the Chow Chow, they need a little bit more activity.
Yeah, like people. If we get bored, we get into trouble. Don't leave us alone.
Stay with Florida's Fourth Estate as we break down the best fur babies for families with young kids. Welcome back to Florida's Fourth Estate. Barker Orlando owner Kirsten Benitez has already given us the rundown of the most challenging dogs for families with young kids looking to get a pet this summer. Now, let's check out some of the easiest.
Everyone loves this dog, the Labrador Retriever.
Yeah, I will just say I've never met a lab that didn't just want to be in my lap. We've met crazy labs with endless amount of energy, but at the end of the day, they just love to be around people. They cannot get enough of people. And they can adapt pretty well to a lot of change. So that's good with a family. And generally they have a pretty even temperament. And overall, they're actually pretty gentle dogs, even though they're a little dopey and, they're here and there. They're super silly, and they're very easy to actually train.
Yeah, labs, great dogs. We had a lab as well when I was a kid. He was a mess when he was a puppy. Now, just because she says these are great dogs doesn't mean they're going to be easy puppies. But he turned into an amazing dog as soon as he got older. I was a little surprised looking at your list. You have a smaller dog on here that's good for families, and not tiny like a teacup Chihuahua, but a Cavalier King Charles Spaniel. Why is this one on the list?
Well, they are probably the most patient dogs I have ever met, and also the happiest dog I've ever met. I have never seen a Cavalier walking down the street with a frown on its face. They always look happy. They're always wagging their tail. They want everyone to say hi to them. They're very, very gentle, and they're generally always just content, and they love lots of attention. They don't need a ton of exercise. So if you're looking for a small dog and maybe you have a really busy lifestyle, and you have, your kids and stuff, but want to get a dog to add to your home, this is a good dog. The only thing about them is they are prone to health issues, unfortunately, and heart disease is one of them. They can easily put on a lot of weight. So if you are going to get this dog, you need to make sure you're giving them the right nutrition, the diet, and making sure they're getting little regular exercise.
Okay. The next dog on this list is probably a favorite dog that is bred with every other dog. Poodles.
Every other dog, yes. Yeah. Poodles, I love poodles. I really, really do. They are actually one of the most intelligent breeds. They're super, super easy to train. The only downside to them, I would say, and you would know this, Ginger, too, because, you have a poodle, a doodle. They're grooming. It is time consuming. It is expensive. So you do need to be prepared for that. Now, I will say toy poodles can be a little less patient, but with the proper socialization, they still have the same intelligence. They can be just as good as the bigger ones. But yeah, they're just super easy to train. And even though they have such this regal presence, they are actually super, super goofy and playful.
Yeah, they're just lovable dogs, Gigi.
They really
Yeah, you can speak to this because you spend time with one every day. Like, have you
Oh
ever
my
seen
gosh.
Finn in a bad mood? He's
He is just never in a bad mood unless you're not playing with him. That's the only time.
and he
he's in a
pouts,
bad
right?
mood.
It's not like
Yes.
angry. He's just like,
Oh
oh,
my
here,
God,
don't
he's
play with me.
And it's those big human eyes. It's like, what do you got to do? It's like, oh my gosh, okay, I'm a bad mom. So yeah, but they really are. But the maintenance cost, that is the one thing that people need to
It's
be
a
aware
lot,
of.
yeah.
Yeah, you got to brush those things
But
for sure.
it's worth it. It's worth
Yeah,
it though.
totally. Great dog. I love that you put this next one on the list. Let's talk about the Mutts, a dog that's just bred with something else. A lot of people think it's kind of dangerous to maybe go to the pound, rescue a dog because they're like, oh, maybe it has something dangerous. Maybe it's got Pit Bull Terrier in them. But you think a Mutt is a good dog to buy. Tell us why.
Yeah, I think mutts are great. Again, we have a lot of them at the facility, so none of them are the same breed. They're not the same mix, but overall, mutts, they generally take on a more even temperament. So as the purebred dogs, they are bred for a job. The mutts, they're not. They're just mixed. They're there. And generally, they take on more of those positive qualities. And it kind of evens it out. And the other great thing about them is they tend to live a lot longer because the health issues are far less. Again, it's the genetics. It's just taken from the good stuff. And you won't have as many trips to the vet. I've owned nothing but mutts my entire life. I love the purebred dogs, but I see a cute little puppy and he's a mixed breed. I love him and I took him home. So he's 15 now, and I think I've only been to the vet once with something, that really needed to be addressed rather than just the regular checkups. So, yeah, they're great. And you get to also save a life at the same time. Don't be afraid. You can, go check them out at the shelter, and really the people at the rescues in the shelter do a great temperament check. They'll let you know what they are and are not good with. They're generally more laid back and a little less demanding, I will say, than some of the purebred dogs. So it's
they don't have an attitude. They're not hoity-toity.
I like these poodles. Get one of those poodles that are like noses in the air.
No, that's great. But mutts are fantastic, and I'm glad you put them on the list. Okay,
Yeah.
and the last but not least on the list, Snoopy, beagles.
Yeah, beagles. I don't think a lot of people think about beagles, but they're actually a very popular small dog for people to get. Hounds in general are great dogs to get, but if you're looking for more of a family dog, a smaller dog, a beagle is a great one. They're actually super, super intelligent. I will say they are stubborn. But they are also extremely outgoing and very eager to please. So that makes training a lot easier. Overall, they're low maintenance, especially with the grooming and adapting to new spaces and climates. They can really adapt to cold, hot. But the one thing, yes, they can be loud. Everyone knows that beagle yodel. The howl, their little beagle. I call it a yodel.
It's not like a bark. Yeah, it's more like a.
Yeah, it's not a roof. It's a.
Okay,
Ooh,
I
it's
gotcha.
going,
Okay.
and it's starts off with a very loud bang, and then
Yeah.
keeps
Gotcha.
going.
All right. Well, fascinating. Thank you so much for telling us. I feel like now that I've heard
Oh
all
my
about their
gosh.
personalities, I think Ginger's more of a poodle personality. I'm probably more of a chow chow.
Yeah,
Uh,
Definitely.
I'm a little more
You're
bristly.
That chow mix you had, whatever.
He was cool.
No,
He had a
that's-
tongue that was half blue and half pink.
Oh yeah,
It was one of the
Oh
craziest
my gosh.
things you've
they're
ever seen.
stunning dogs. They
Yeah.
really are.
Absolutely.
And again, all these dogs are good. It just
Yeah.
depends on your lifestyle. Truly,
Yeah.
what
It's
you're
like
looking
anything.
for.
Kids have the potential to be great. It's the parenting.
Yeah.
It's the training. It's very true.
And that is what training is. Honestly, 90% of it's training the parents. When we're doing a session, because you guys are living with them, you got to continue it on. So,
Well, if you have a dog out there and you're looking for a place to take care of them, if you're going to be out of town or maybe you're going to work for a long day, check out Bark Orlando. We have a lot of people at News 6, if you're in Central Florida, who stick their dogs in there, and the dog doesn't want to go
Love
home.
it.
The dog's
Yeah.
like, I'm good here, guys. You can just leave it. So thank you so much, Kirsten. We appreciate you
of
joining
course.
us.
Thank you guys.
Florida's Fourth Estate.
Appreciate it.
And thank you for watching Florida's Fourth Estate. You can download it from wherever you listen to podcasts or watch anytime on News 6 Plus.